Hello and welcome to the Virginia Clean Cities program update for 2026. Today we will go through a few of our programs that are active and how you can get involved with them today. First, we'll have Alleyn Harned, our Executive Director, give us a welcoming introduction to Virginia Clean Cities. With that, I'll pass it to Alleyn.
Well, hey, I'm glad to be here in this world with you and to share just this brief moment for our technology happy hour and our annual program update. You'll also be teased with some much longer in-person program updates that we've got going through the years ahead. And I am grateful to be here. Thank you, Greg, for pulling this all together. But also wanted to thank the entire Virginia Clean Cities team for participating here. In addition to the folks you're going to hear from, I do want to call out the leader who gets it all done with regards to all of our digital content and our invitations and beyond. You're going to see photographs from station openings and other materials from Jordan with the Virginia Clean Cities team. So he is not presenting today, but he is leading us through these processes by getting everybody here, being sure that folks are aware of the content and beyond. And so glad to be here in this world with you. Alleyn Harned, Executive Director of Virginia Clean Cities, checking in from frozen Harrisonburg, Virginia. And so glad also to be able to give you guys and give everybody an excuse, hopefully to be inside or somewhere warm. Next slide. Just going to focus a little bit on the Virginia Clean Cities team and logo in a few of my overview comments, but it's just to say Virginia Clean Cities celebrates our 30th year this year. Our partnership formed at Old Dominion University, but we're here at James Madison University now, and our logo showcases vehicles and it showcases infrastructure, and behind the vehicles and the infrastructure is you. It is all the people and the places that work to make this pathway for transportation to be cleaner. So glad to be here working on our energy, our environment, and our economy here in Virginia in this fine partnership. We're here in Harrisonburg at James Madison University, but this partnership between government, industry, and academia as we advance these technologies and these fuels. Next slide. Virginia Clean Cities is a member of a national core of clean cities and communities. We are a statewide designated coalition, a partnership to advance clean transportation. If you're checking in from another state, there is another good core of folks that want to help you. And here in Virginia, we want to be sure to help everybody wherever they are, especially with our motoring fleets that are going between multiple states. There are more than 75 Clean Cities coalitions designated throughout the nation, and Virginia has a wide-ranging coalition here with Virginia Clean Cities, statewide, technology neutral, technology integration. We plan, we connect, we inform, and we deploy alternative fuel vehicles with a wide range of stakeholders and partners in Virginia. Next slide. We've been operating since 1996, and we are currently a full-time coalition of many folks here working that you're going to hear from today. We are backed by a nonprofit, but we're all state employees at James Madison University, working on a range of technology, biofuels, hybrid vehicles, the whole caboodle and range. So we are technology neutral. We want to help drivers and communities make the choices to reduce their emissions and to improve their economic standing. And our goals are to work towards reduced fuel use, reduced gasoline and diesel, incentivize that change, to lower the fuel cost at scale. And we're talking about moving from $3.50 gasoline and diesel today to $1 per gallon equivalent net zero carbon fuel in the years ahead to fuel our economy. We've made major progress in Virginia with more than 1,800 alternative fuel station locations and 150 green fleets, although more green fleets are joining us every day as we advance these cleaner domestic fuels. And next slide. And my spot is just to cover that there are a lot of programs. You're going to hear not about all of the Virginia Clean Cities programs. I'm just going to point a little bit to the left side of the screen, which I've encased in a little bit of yellow, a little bit of amber, like the Jurassic Park mosquito. Our DOE Clean Cities and Communities statewide partnership, our Clean Cities environmental justice program, including the Lynchburg area EV charging deployment program, our Charging Smart Community program, our nationwide leading Clean Ports Academy program, and our fleet training program, our heavy duty charging pilot and shared transit charging pilot program, our corridor planning, our rural vehicle demonstrations and charging deployment, and our Second Life battery and battery shredding project. All of those projects are currently in a space of federal ambiguity where we are waiting for the lights to turn back on. So I want to just ask everybody to bear with us and to recognize that as a coalition, our projects this year are doing a bit of a pivot. We are working towards active projects that maintain plans and contracts, such as our Mid-Atlantic Clean Cities Expansion Program on the right side, our stakeholder technical support and memberships, so the stakeholders keep Virginia Clean Cities going, our Mid-Atlantic Nitrogen Reduction Project, where we are replacing diesel vehicles, our logistics decarbonization pilot, our clean transportation programming with Virginia Energy, including statewide activities, including transportation and permitting activities, including the EV charging assistance program, and CMAQ, our state energy activities continue. And we're doing events and workshops like our electric school bus workshop and picking things up with fee-for-service areas. I start off just with a soft note that things are a little bit unclear in terms of collaborating with the federal government in this year for Virginia Clean Cities, but also for many of our partners. So we feel you, and also just want to express both my patience to staff and my patience with all of our partners, and hope that you guys can share that patience with us as we all work to understand kind of the what happens with federal certainty, or how to realign with the federal programming. I just want to say thank you all for all that you do, and I want to pass it back to you, Greg.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to switch gears over to my little presentation about a program that I've been working on for the last year and a half, 2 years or so. It is called GUMBO, and the acronym had to be removed because of some of the language, which is unfortunate due to the federal government changes. But what it's all about is about EVSE workforce development. And now, if you don't know what EVSE means, it's electric vehicle service equipment, so like chargers and things like that. And it's all about developing trades workers to work on those types of equipment. So I'll just jump right in. So some about the curriculum that's being developed by Baton Rouge Community College in Louisiana is roughly 160 hours, can be done over 4 to 16 weeks, and it covers from everything from electrical principles and safety to the field practices and documentation, understanding power supply. And they developed this full curriculum at Baton Rouge Community College under their trade school and incorporated it with their automotive technician program. So the goal of this program really is to be incorporated into a larger higher education institute, so like a university, a community college, education center, something like that. So this is just a quick little breakdown of what the curriculum looks like. As I said, it can be anywhere from 4 to 16 weeks. So if you do it for 4 weeks, it's more intensive. It's 5 days a week, 8-hour days. So it's very intensive. Or you can, parse that over 16 weeks, where like a typical semester would be for a class at any standard university. So like I said, this was meant to be incorporated into an already existing curriculum, but it could be an add-on or an added-on certification for a trades worker that wants to be able to service these types of equipment, so like EV chargers and or EVs themselves. This is the website that we have set up through the program. It's www.chargertraining.com. And on the top right, you can see that says request curriculum. That email goes directly to Louisiana Clean Fuels, who is the prime on this grant. We are a sub-awardee that we are doing some working in Virginia and the Commonwealth area to get this curriculum implemented on the community college or higher education side. But you can go to this website, and if you have questions, they answer them pretty much all here, and you can directly request the curriculum from Louisiana Clean Fuels. Now, we have it as well. It comes with everything from PowerPoint slides, quizzes, and exams to like the certification itself, like a little plaque that you can give to someone. So it's fully like ready and cooked and ready to go. It just needs to be implemented and taken up by a community college. The last thing I wanted to leave y'all with here is there is a quote that I found from EE Power The author was Ruth Phillips. And so the name of the article was, So You Want to Work with EVs. And it says this, is that the U.S. could face a shortage of as many as 35,000 electric vehicle technicians by 2028, leaving a huge gap in the workforce needed to keep EVs and chargers running smoothly. And a recent study by the International Council of Clean Transportation Projects that charging infrastructure expansion could create over 160,000 jobs by 2032, nearly half of which will be in the electrical installation, maintenance, and repair of EV chargers. So even if we are talking about just half of 160,000, that is 80,000 jobs that we have on the line that need to be created. Currently in Virginia, there are no certified EVSE technicians at all. If you have an EV charger that is broken or needs to be fixed, typically what you do is you call the manufacturer, whoever has built it, and they send a technician out, which is great, but that can be sometimes costly and time intensive. And the goal of this curriculum is to be on a more local level where someone is educated on how to fix and or diagnose a problem for an electrician or a certified technician to come and fix. So therefore it saves time and money, and it creates a job for someone locally that can fix the EV charger. So like I said, this program is I really believe in this program, and it's all about getting jobs into local areas and parts of Virginia. And if you want to know more, please shoot me an email. We are hosting events with Shine, a nonprofit and community-based organization in Virginia, and then also with Dock the Door Coalition. And we've been working with Tidewater Community College and a few others in the region to get this curriculum implemented. So like I said, if you want to know more, please shoot me an email. And with that, that's my time. I'm going to pass it over to Tara.
Awesome. Thank you, Greg. Hey, everybody. I'm Tara Kesterson. I'm the Clean Communities and Economic Development Director here in Southwest Virginia. So I am the rookie of the group, really excited to participate in my very first program update today. Just a few personal notes. I'm a Southwest Virginia native. I grew up in Raven, a Hodeacre High School, an Emory and Henry alum. And I've worked in this region in local news and for another state agency. So my love for this particular part of Virginia is really big. And I'm now in Bristol, where my husband and I raised our 10-year-old daughter, and we have a really giant mean orange cat. Next slide, please. So you may be wondering, how did Tara get here? I was hired back in February after VCC identified Southwest Virginia as the area they wanted to focus on in the Mid-Atlantic Clean Cities Coalition Expansion Project, which we affectionately call MAATSE. And those counties in that lemon you see are the areas in Virginia or in which VCC had a vision. And I was honored to be chosen to start doing the work of our coalition with all the great people located here in this region. Next slide, please. So a priority for MAATSE and for me, because I really need a good support system, was to form the Southwest Virginia Advisory Board for Virginia Clean Cities. And I think we really created a winning group here. You can look at the names on that list and their organizations. And this team has been beyond helpful, and their passion for Southwest Virginia is just really top notch. And their vision for clean transportation is really refreshing. And we've also had some successes already coming out of our brainstorming sessions. And we plan to have some exciting opportunities coming up in 2026. So definitely stay tuned for those. Next slide, please. I just wanted to show you one of our meetings here. One of our board members owns a beautiful cidery here in Bristol. So it's great to get our board together in person from time to time. And clearly we were having a riveting conversation since their cat, Pepper, he's kind of the mascot of the cidery there, joined in on the meeting and immediately fell asleep. But we had a great day that day and are doing some really exciting things. Next slide, please. And this is just a look at the board's role. And I mostly love that synopsis there at the bottom because this group has really taken ownership over their commitment to this board and Virginia Clean Cities and the work we're doing in Southwest Virginia. Next slide, please. So I made a little digital scrapbook, if you will. I'm going to overload you with some photos and highlights over the past few months. We had a really great field trip over into East Tennessee with NetTrans to take a look at how propane is saving their fleet dollars. And the director there was actually able to give her drivers a pay raise after switching to the fuel. So it was a really great learning experience with that agency. I've taken that popular Ford Lightning out to some communities and outreach events. I hosted my first ride and drive, and thanks to the city of Bristol, Virginia for partnering with us on that. And I got to head up to Blacksburg to tour their facility, and they use electric buses there. And if you're really interested in that, you should join us for the Clean Transportation Working Group next February, or this month, coming up this month, for Tim Witten talking about telematics at his facility in Blacksburg. Really interesting stuff. Next slide, please. We've got to host some great workshops for fleets. I got my table set up and my new tent, so I've headed to Marion and had a chance to be in VDOT headquarters in Bristol to talk about alternative fuels. We had a really great experience at the Community Transit Association of Virginia conference up in Roanoke called CTAV. You can see us up there in the corner with JMU's propane van on display. I made my first trip to Harrisonburg finally for the Resilient Virginia Conference, and we got the ribbon on some charging stations in Norton and Breaks Interstate Park. The Hampton Inn, when they opened their charging stations there, bought that beautiful cake you see, and had a great celebration around getting some EV charging in that city. We saw some cool vehicles in Winston-Salem at the Sustainable Transportation Expo, and I also had a great opportunity to take some industry field trips where we saw things like propane forklifts operating in warehouses. Next slide, please. And the end of last year brought some more exciting opportunities. I can't say enough about the members and stakeholders that I've had the opportunity to interact with since I've joined Virginia Clean Cities. You can see Happy Fox there on the left with Alliance Auto Gas, and he's been great to tag along for Q&A sessions with fleets interested in switching to propane. We were at Washington County, Virginia Schools recently. We had a great meeting on hydrogen at the Higher Ed Center with Virginia Tech. I got to explore the SMART Road up in Blacksburg at Virginia Tech with the Virginia Maritime Association's Southwest chapter and really made some great connections there, a great group of people. And then also had a good field trip to Volvo in Pulaski with a program called Bridge to Excellence happening at Pulaski and Radford High Schools through New River Valley Community College. And it was a really great experience for me and the students that I got to tag along with too. Next slide, please. Back in September, we put together a deep dive on CNG and RNG, and this workshop in Abingdon was a really great learning tool for fleets, communities, and the industry considering the alternative. So we created some wonderful partnerships out of this, and we're actually now operating a CNG work group that meets quarterly to talk about opportunities to advance the fuel and get out there and talk about it a little more. Next slide, please. It is my alma mater, but I can't say enough about Emory and Henry University and just what an outstanding partner they were for our Plug in America EV Ride and Drive Rural event. We ended up getting 2 dealerships there. We had about 20 EVs to do ride and drives near campus. And I got to give a shout out to Appalachian Power there, who set up shop on a Sunday to talk about some of their EV charging incentive programs. You can see them there in the bottom corner with their red tent. Next slide. Because we were a few riders short at that event, we had to pivot a little bit, but we had a second opportunity for EV education, and this all happened thanks to that Emory and Henry connection. Washington County loaned us their electric school bus, which was really fun, and we had 25 students and professors go for a ride on the bus. There's a great YouTube video if you follow our channel where the students talk about their experience. It was a really great day to be on campus and to hear the feedback from everyone, and it really turned out to be an impactful experience. Next slide, please. The Mid-Atlantic Electrification Partnership was a really fun project for me. This program allowed us to build up the EV charging infrastructure in Southwest Virginia, and you can see on that map where charging stations were added or they're going to be added. All of the communities and organizations that I got to work with on this project were just really great, and we are already planning and hope to see you at some ribbon cutting events coming up this year to open all of those stations we were able to add through that program. Next slide, please. This was also a great experience as I've never really jumped into a community assessment, so it was new for me. The town of Marion, Ken Heath, if you know him up there, they're just really great. They opened their arms, their offices, their event space, and really supported us through this effort. They were working on a 2050 plan simultaneously, so we were able to add our assessment to that plan. And there were some great goals in there that we plan on to work on in the future with them, like looking at their fleet, installing EV infrastructure, and finding other ways to reduce emissions and costs when it comes to transportation there in the town. Next slide, please. Well, it's been a real honor to be at VCC this year. I've enjoyed all of this work so much and meeting so many great people along the way. Have my contact information there if you're in Southwest Virginia, you want to meet up, talk about more opportunities in clean transportation. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks, Greg. Back to you.
Thanks, Tara. So we're going to pass things over to Matt. Something I wanted to say, though, before Matt gets started. We are going to have a short little question and answer session at the end of this. So if you can hold your questions to the end, or if you can't hold on to them, make sure you drop them in the chat and we will get to them at the end. So that's it. Yeah, I'll pass it to you, Matt.
Let me unmute myself. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Wade, Deputy Director here at Virginia Clean Cities. I'm excited to talk to each of you about our Logistics Decarbonization and Strategic Areas project. This is a project that I've been working on since 2023. So we are entering kind of the final phase of what I call the LODESTAR project. So next slide, please. So what is the LODESTAR project? Essentially, we began this project in October of 2023, and it ends in June 2026. And we are trying to essentially identify gaps in knowledge for last mile electric vehicle delivery. And so this is your FedEx delivery trucks, your Amazon, US Postal Service, all of your last mile delivery operators. And in this particular instance, we partnered with a FedEx contractor called Advanced Logistics Systems. They have a presence in Fredericksburg, Virginia, where they operate for some FedEx routes in some select zip codes. And he was interested in deploying some electric vans in his operations in Fredericksburg. And so we wrote a proposal to the Department of Energy and received some funding, about $603,000 in federal funds to deploy these vans and the associated charging infrastructure in Fredericksburg, as well as conduct a last mile leadership education curriculum set of courses with students from around Virginia who are interested in clean transportation as a future career. We also had another partner, Dominion Energy. They were providing infrastructure assistance on the charging station make ready and installation, and I could talk about that in the next slides. Great. And so what were we trying to do? We were trying to deploy electric vehicles in Fredericksburg, evaluate their performance. We were trying to deploy electric vehicle infrastructure and evaluate its performance. And then also have the last mile leadership program where we would have 20 students get a small scholarship and then attend several webinars and discussions, like group discussions about topics in clean transportation. And the initial goal started out as 5 EV charging stations and the goal started out as 5 EVs and associated charging stations. It's grown to 5 EV charging stations and 20 EVs in 2 different geographies. So we have expanded the impact of this project because, as I will discuss, we were able to acquire electric vehicles and electric vans at a much more affordable price point than we initially thought. Next slide, Greg. And so it was essentially approached in 3 phases. This is the typical phase or project layout of a DOE grant, where you have, phase 1 is your planning and commitment, the last mile leadership education and outreach phase to the students. Phase 2 was your vehicle acquisition, infrastructure acquisition, deployment of the charging stations, the vehicles, the outreach and engagement to the communities. And then now we are in phase 3. So we're working on our summary reports. We're finishing up the installation of the infrastructure, and we're analyzing the data from the vehicles. Next slide, please. And this kind of just goes over what I just said. The infrastructure and vehicles are out on the road. The infrastructure is in the process of being installed. We've run into some speed bumps, pun intended, with our infrastructure partners who were having some contractual disagreements, I guess I would say, but we're working through those and we hope to have those resolved and everything installed by June of 2026. We've completed our consumer education events. We've completed our last mile leadership program. Next slide, please. And so we still have to do our community and EV fleet analysis reports, promoting the tools that we're going to create, and presentations to logistics transportation industry, like the Work Truck Show or the rally in Richmond. We'll find audiences to share the information that we've created through this project. Next slide. This is kind of just goes over the main achievements. We did 7 cohort meetings with the last mile leadership students with subject matter experts. We did 6 in-person outreach events in the region. We acquired 12 Bright Drop vans. So initially wanted to only purchase 5, but then we were able to get 12. However, as we were working through the charging planning, FedEx determined that they would not allow us to utilize their distribution terminal. They were in the middle of going through a major merger, and the stars did not align for us to utilize their existing distribution terminal in the Fredericksburg area. So we looked at a regional airport, and the regional airport also, they thought it was a great idea, but they wanted DC fast chargers instead of level 2 charging, and this project did not have funding for DC fast chargers. And so now we are working with a fuel provider in the region, and we are working through some contractual arrangements with them to get the charging equipment installed, where Dominion will provide through their fleet assistance program the make ready, and we will provide the charging equipment. And so it will facilitate and lower the overall cost of the installation of the chargers. And then we will have a charging as a service provider who will act as kind of the fuel provider for the electricity to the independent contractor drivers. So that's another thing that we had to overcome, is the FedEx model requires that drivers purchase their own fuel, and that includes electricity. So there had to be a middle, a charging service as a provider agreement established. Next slide, Greg. And so we've had some good demonstrations. We got to see a electric truck at a local company here in Harrisonburg. They had a Freightliner eCascadia, and we got to see how that operated and how it was charged at the facility in Harrisonburg. That picture in the middle is us touring the FedEx facility, looking at potential EV charging locations. The building itself is set up perfectly for EV charging. Each of these parking spots, that the truck just backs right up to the conveyor belt where they're loaded, and you could very easily mount EV charging near the parking space. So in future work like this, the setup and the ability to put charging in these buildings is not super difficult. It's probably very expensive if you're going to be running conduit and wiring and put charging in, but logistically and the setup for charging is very, very convenient. And then we had some outreach events with our partner In Charge Energy in Richmond, where we showed off our XOS electric step van and Bright Drop van as well. Next slide, please. And so, what have we been doing? What have we been learning through this? The market dramatically changed in the summer of 2025. Basically, the market for electric vans became very favorable to those who wanted to buy them. And so pricing was very, very good on Bright Drop EV600s. And so we were able to purchase more than we initially thought. We were also able to expand the project, and ALS was able to acquire 32 Mullen 3 electric cargo vans, and he is actually spinning off a business model where he is going to lease those out to other delivery drivers. So he is identifying additional businesses and revenue streams to come from this project. We're evaluating the data right now on the first 3 months of driving the Bright Drops from October to December. They put about 30,000 miles on those 12 vans and used about 18,000 kilowatts of electricity. So it's about 1.6 miles per kilowatt that they're averaging. So I don't know what that means. We're going to figure out if that's in line with industry average, or if that is like something that can be approved upon through driver behavior. We have a lot of telematics on these vans that kind of tell us, how they're performing. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we're doing the performance analysis. We need to do some battery and charging systems testing, and we can potentially work with InCharge. They have a whole facility where they test batteries and charging computers and charging hardware. So working with InCharge remains a good partnership for Virginia Clean Cities. And then we have to develop a future model of a different metro area. So Fredericksburg, if you're not familiar, is a small city surrounded by a large rural area. And so it blends the urban suburban geography and landscape and streets layout. So future modeling could include just a rural area or a more densely packed urban area where we might even deploy a Zevo 400, which is a smaller Bright Drop van. So next slide. As I mentioned, the EV infrastructure planning has been slow. I've been working with ALS and Corals to get this EV charger deployed for several months now, and we are working with Dominion, and we hope to have this finally resolved by June of 2026. But Dominion has been a great partner. Their fleet assistance program really does facilitate the deployment of this equipment, because they essentially are a turnkey installer for the make-ready and can provide you a fixed cost that you can apply to your electric bill that you pay back over 10 years with a little bit of interest. So it's a great program. If you need to know more about it, I'm happy to discuss Dominion's fleet assistance program with you as well. Next slide, Greg. And the last mile leadership cohort. So this was our cohort of educational opportunities for students. We had, like I said, 7 cohort meetings. This is probably a screenshot of like the second one. Yep. Next slide, Greg. And some of our student profiles, we had students from like Virginia State University, from Virginia Tech, Elizabeth City University, Tidewater Community College, Virginia Commonwealth, James Madison University. So really all over the state, we had students from all different backgrounds, masters in computer science and civil engineering, logistics technology, future educators. These are folks who may have heard of an electric vehicle, but had never really sat down and thought about what it means to drive an electric vehicle, or design a transportation system that accommodates electric vehicles. So it was great to interact with these students and impart some knowledge from our subject matter experts and have conversations with them about electrification of transportation. And a summary, we are trying to address these last mile EV delivery gaps all over the state. We are developing some tools and hope to have replication tool guide for this project. Education is very important. So, reaching out to communities, letting them know that these vehicles are operating in your area. I just saw an Amazon Rivian van operating in Harrisonburg for the first time. So that's great to see that those vans, that electric vehicle is out in this part of the world in the Shenandoah Valley. Lots of collaboration
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. I do love LODESTAR, and I especially love the Chevy Bright Drop that we get to have here and use for delivery. So it's really convenient. So with that, I'll pass it over to Russ Presnell, our Clean Fleet Engagement Manager. Russ, if you'd like to come on for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Craig. And hopefully the weather won't be affecting my video and me freezing up here on during the presentation. But yeah, Russell Presnell or Russ Presnell, leave that up to the individual. Green Fleet Engagement Manager here at Virginia Clean Cities. And one of the projects that I get to work on the most and probably enjoy the most is the CMAQ program, which is the Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Program. This program has been in effect for a few years. It is administered by Virginia Energy and Virginia Department of Transportation. All right, next slide. Thank you very much. Okay, so in a nutshell here, what the CMAQ program does is it provides funding to cover the incremental cost for municipal fleets between a conventional ICE vehicle and an alternative fuel vehicle, up to $10,000. So the technologies that are covered through this program are natural gas, propane, and electric. Unfortunately, not hybrid technologies for those government fleets. Next slide. You also, it is also only eligible for fleets that are in 4 non-attainment areas. Those areas are Northern Virginia, Fredericksburg, the Richmond area, and Hampton Roads area. Okay, next slide. We've had great success with this program and was able to provide funding for 80 vehicles last year. Anything between municipalities' white fleet, their Parks and Recs department, to police and schools, for school buses, for police cruisers, for Parks and Recs departments, and pretty much everything in between. The process is pretty simple, and we try to keep it as simple and straightforward as possible. It starts off with pre-approval, and those documents you can scan here. Also get it from our website under projects. But everything starts with a pre-approval that we will go over. Of course, you need to put your name on it first, and we need to make sure that you are in an eligible municipality in an eligible geographic area. And we're always happy to work with you. Call us, email us, whatever. If you need any help, if you're interested, we can set up meetings to discuss further, kind of look at your fleet, look at ways that we can help introduce alternative fuel vehicles, whether that is a new vehicle purchase or a conversion of an existing vehicle. Both work just fine. Yeah, and then we'll kind of walk you through the application process, finding an equivalent ICE vehicle and determining the appropriate incremental cost between the two, in which this program will provide that funding. And then after that, reimbursement at the end. We do ask and require a fuel use report after a year, so we can help track what kind of fuel savings that you're seeing, that your fleet is seeing in your municipal fleet. And with that, I think I got it all covered. It's pretty quick. We can talk more about it at any point. Again, have had great success this past year. Fleets that had never taken advantage of the program, that really didn't have much of an alternative fuel plan going forward, starting to dip their toes into alternative fuel vehicles for their municipal fleets and to hit their sustainability goals. And then other fleets that have been taking advantage of the program for years. So again, happy to discuss with anybody who's interested. Feel free to reach out, and looking forward to transitioning more vehicles in the Commonwealth. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Russ. Yeah, to be clear, if you're in one of these areas and you're interested and want to know more, please contact Russ. There is money that we would love to help use to upgrade your fleets to alternative fuel vehicles. Thanks so much, Russ. All right, with that, I'm going to pass it over to Graham Sheridan, who is in Richmond. Graham, would you come on for me?
Well, thanks so much, Greg. Thanks so much, team. It's so much fun to be working on this team of dedicated folks who are trying to move the ball forward every day. Can we go next slide? So we have 3 big upcoming events I'd like to talk about. The first of which is the Virginia Electric School Bus Workshop. This will be a day of panels and discussions and working with fleet managers and leaders to learn about electric school bus. This is working together with WRI, World Resources Institute, to put on a great event. So this is March 10th. We hope to see you there. We'll have an electric bus. We'll have a lot of experts on charging and make ready and other parts of the chain that makes electric school buses work. So if you've been looking into this, if you're thinking about it, or if you have technicians or other people who want to learn more about this, this is was a big part of the infrastructure law. This is a big part of the future for the Commonwealth. Next, we have our rally coming up at Main Street Station on April 2nd. This is our 30th birthday rally, and we're gonna do it big. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I hope to see everyone there, and there'll be some very cool vehicles. Dave is bringing his Harbinger. We've got some Rivians. We've got all sorts of cool vehicles coming. So I think we'll have some recap. The legislative session will be complete by this point, so we'll know a little bit more about where we stand here in Virginia. Excited to see all of you there. This is the third of these, which is our newest event. It is a regional expo we're holding in Harrisonburg in collaboration with these other Clean Cities partners. So this is a celebration, a learning session, a get together with all of these Clean Cities coalitions that have been working on these expansion projects that will be at JMU this summer in the Atlantic Union Bank arena. So I personally don't have the jump shot to normally be on the floor there, but this will be a way that I get to sneak in and be there. It's free for fleets. This will be a larger scale event, a regional event, again, with all these leaders from across. I'm a Southerner, so I don't like calling Virginia part of the Mid-Atlantic, but across the Mid-Atlantic region. And I'd also love to talk to folks about sponsorship for 1, 2, or all 3 of these events. I'm referring to sponsoring all 3 as a Virginia Clean Cities season sponsorship, like we're a theater organization, but it's a ticket to a lot of fun, a ticket to learning a lot, and a ticket to meeting a lot of cool leaders in our industry. So hope to see you at all 3. Thank you, and back to you, Greg.
Thank you so much for listening into this Technology Happy Hour, the annual program update from Virginia Clean Cities. If you'd like to reach out to any of us directly, please follow the links below to our contact information. And if you have any further questions and would like to leave them here in the comment section, please do so. The next portion of this video is a question and answer session that happened live at the recording of this on January 29th, 2026. Please feel free to listen in. And like I said, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Graham. Yeah, I really appreciate it. One thing I did want to say is that the electric school bus event is free. currently, and we'd love to have anyone there. And I will be at that event as well. So yeah, with that, I'm going to open the floor to anyone that might have questions for any of us here on this panel. Alan, unfortunately, is not here, but we have Matt and the rest of the team leading us here. So I'll pause and stop talking. If you want to drop a question in the chat, or if you want to come off mute and just fire it out. Go ahead, David.
Appreciate it, Gregory. Yeah, Dave Gelman, VEIC, proud Virginia Clean Cities board member. I was also wondering, for 2026, what are you seeing as probably your big projects? In other words, a year from now, if you're doing this webinar again, what do you think are going to be the big projects for 2026?
That was a great question. Matt?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what the Department of Energy Technology Office comes up with. That is their new name, I believe. If they put out any notices of funding opportunities, I could see workforce, I could see battery recycling, a focus on critical minerals recovery or supply chain development. Potentially less on the vehicle deployment and technology deployment side, but maybe more on the early stage research again. Yes, training for technicians. Yes, definitely educational component. I could see being a big portion of the upcoming NOFOs. But your guess is as good as mine what the Department of Energy is going to put out. And then with the EPA clean diesel program, how are they going to revamp that? Is it going to be more focused on natural gas, propane, biofuels, and less on electrification? I mean, I'll let you decide what you think that one's headed towards. But both programs, the Clean Cities and Communities program was reauthorized or reappropriated at its funding level from last year. So the money has been allocated by Congress and been signed by the president. The same with EPA clean diesel. So there's $90 million for the EPA clean diesel program, and then for the Clean Cities program, we'll have about $40 million in competitive grants that we'll be able to apply for. And so we're always looking for ideas. So if you have ideas for alternative fuel or clean transportation programs in Virginia, we're happy to partner with you on those to write the proposals and then administer them or manage them to successful outcomes.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Gregory.
Yeah, of course. And I will say that as a dues paying member, as stakeholders of Virginia Clean Cities, that is one of the many benefits to being that, as we help you with grants and writing said grants, depending on your level for which you're a member. And not to mention for the 3 events that we mentioned that you would get in free with your membership with Virginia Clean Cities. And so right now, with all of the federal dollars being kind of ambiguous as to whether they will come through or not, having individual stakeholders and doing private projects with private partners has become instrumental. And we've done a few of those with some of our stakeholders and partners over the last year. So if you yourself have projects that you need administrative work done or GIS work done, things like that, please let us know. We'd love to partner with you and get some of that work done. So I'll get off my soapbox. Any other questions?
I guess kind of expanding on that, the ambiguity of it. What do you think the pulse is for deploying fast charging DC chargers and level 2s in underserved and rural areas for the upcoming year?
So I think it's going to continue. I think we have some headwinds. We may have less federal support. NEVI program still exists. It's now been kind of changed around to not prioritize environmental justice communities anymore. But that's not going to eliminate the demand for this equipment in those areas. So it's just going to come down to if the project makes sense and can be justified with the costs and potential revenues. There are some opportunities at the with your utilities, with Dominion, to help deploy charging stations in environmental justice communities. They have an EV charger assistance program that Dominion customers can apply for, similar to the fleet program, but it's for multifamily residential. So that's another opportunity. And then with the rural, there's a bill in the General Assembly right now for rural EV charger infrastructure assistance. And so we'll have to see if that passes and is funded through this budget cycle. So there are some opportunities. We're kind of devolving away from the federal government for a few years, and the state and the localities and the private sector is filling the demand. Is the way I've kind of seen it take place and take shape.
Awesome. Thanks, Matthew.
I think John Charchar had his hand up. Yes.
Yes, I did. Hi, I'm John Charchar. I'm a recruiter for Attunity Institute, which is a training organization. We do several courses, of which one of them is the electric vehicle charging station technician course. So we have about probably 100 students right now that are in the process of completing this course, which is a 65-hour online course. It's administered by Skill Fusion. I don't know if you know about them, but they do the online training. Mm-hmm. We have a grant that came from Electrify America, which is providing the funding. So everybody's attending this course for free. And my question is, I noticed that you said there's no technicians out in Virginia right now. So I'm actually new to this, and I didn't know where this was going to go after they graduated. So I'd like to pose that question. Do we have employers that are ready to take in entry-level students that have just received the basics and are ETAI certified in electric vehicle charging stations that are willing to give them an interview and ideally end up hiring?
Yeah, thank you so much, John, for that. Yeah, actually, we've worked with Attunity as well with the GUMBO program, and we've talked with, I believe, Earl about being a partner on it, and they signed a couple of our pledges. Anyway, that said, short answer is yes. There are larger companies that, like I was mentioning, like ChargePoint, Blink, EVgo, yeah, the bigger conglomerates that operate a lot of chargers that are hiring those kind of technicians. The goal of the curriculum that we're talking about is having these independent operators that can operate EVSE charging stations in their local community. And so when I said there aren't any EVSE technicians in Virginia, what I meant is that it's not a certified program where people come out just being able to do that and on their own. Usually, like you were saying, they go to a larger company, apply, and get jobs that way, which is fantastic, and we are all for that. But the goal of this curriculum would be to work in tandem with someone like an electrician's journeyman program, like Tidewater Community College has, where this is an add-on so that these electricians can come out and service and potentially fix the the chargers themselves. And we are currently doing some outreach and education this final year of the program to figure out, honestly, some of those questions that you just asked about where we see the market going. Is there demand? Where is the demand? If so, and answering some of those questions. I will be at a kind of a they call it a festival, but I'm not really positive what it is. But it's a workforce development festival in Herndon in May with Dr. Dorr, and I'll be talking about this then. And we'll be doing something in Southwestern Virginia with Tara as well, talking to some people in the rural parts of Virginia. So all that said, does that answer your question? Does it kind of?
Well, I was actually hoping that you already had some companies that were willing to accept interviews with students that are just getting into this field. which you said, if I remember correctly, 160,000 jobs available in 2032. So I would
That's
think,
projected, obviously, like, so that's
right,
not
right,
gospel, but
right,
but
right. But yeah, I guess what I'm looking for, which I have not looked for before, is these companies. I don't know these companies by name. I don't know if they're
Sure.
willing to interview. I would like to be able to contact some of these companies and ask that question. Do you have links to any companies that are willing to
Yeah,
do?
I mean, we've worked with quite a few charging partners over the years through programs that we've administered, and I'd be happy to get on a call with you where we can talk about some of those, and I can put you
Sure,
in contact with some of those people.
that'd be
Um,
great.
yeah, again, because Edutunity is a part of our stakeholdership and it comes with your membership, so I'd happily do that with you.
Great,
Um,
thank you.
so yeah, thanks, John. I'll get your email after this, and we can connect at a later date.
Yep, yeah, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just checking the messages here, make sure I didn't miss anything. We're coming up on time. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. If you have questions, please shoot any of us an email or give us a phone call. We hope to see you at some of our technology happy hours that we have every month on the third Thursday of every month. Please sign up. We'll see you at the next one. And if not, I will see you at hopefully one of these three events this coming year in 2026. And it is 4 o'clock now, so thank you so much for being here. Everyone have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much.